Hi, welcome to NicheCraft. My name is Cassie and I'm your host, and today we are going to be making some Valentine's Day colorways, and we are going to be using the colors pink. Now remember, this is very concentrated, so it's going to look a lot darker than it actually is. So we're going to be using pink, we are going to be using violet, and we are going to be using crimson. Alright, so we've got a nice deep red, a pink, and pretty close to a purple. So I want to walk you step by step through every single thing that I'm doing, okay? So the first step is that I have a 19-liter or 20-quart storage tote here. Probably got it at the Dollar General. And what I have in here are my skeins of yarn that I'm going to dye with the first colorway. I added 8 cups of water and 3 tablespoons of vinegar, and I've been letting this soak for about 15 minutes, just enough time for the yarn to absorb all of the water and to absorb that vinegar, because the vinegar is what makes this acid dye bind to the protein fibers. Right, so now I want to talk about the exact kind of yarn I'm using today. It's a really, really nice yarn. It's called Bear Hair Fingering Weight. Okay, so it's a 50 gram skein, 219 yards. This is a fingering weight. And what's really cool about this is that it's got some Angora in it. And what Angora is bunny fur. And so what they do is that they take the merino wool and the Angora and they twist it together when they're spinning it to make this really super soft yarn. So we're going to be working with this fingering weight yarn. As you can see, the crochet hook is B through E, and the knitting needle, it suggests numbers 1 through 3. And of course, this is hand wash, cold, dry, flat. And again, I got it from Knit Picks. And if you want to think about how soft it is, for those of you who are probably a little older like me, if you've ever had a lucky rabbit's foot, it's soft like that. Very, very soft. Alright guys, so just wanting to make sure that you see every single step I'm taking. I have taken the yarn out and I've put it aside. And here's that tub. I'm just going to pour that water in there. Okay, that way I don't waste water. And like I said, I'm going to add a little bit of pink. And I said a tablespoon. I think I'm actually going to start out with a teaspoon, because I want this to be really pastel. And if a teaspoon is right, then that's great. But if I need to add more, I can always add more. And that would be fine. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and add more anyway. So we're going to start off with 2 teaspoons. After that, we will see what we got. Okay, so that's going to be a very pastel pink. And if I want it darker, I can always add more. Alright guys, I'm back. I have not added the yarn yet, and I just wanted to add just shy of a tablespoon more of vinegar. That way this acid will be able to help it bind to the yarn really quickly. I've turned the heat up to medium-high just to get it hot quickly, okay? And I'm about ready to add the yarn, so we will see how pastel this is. Alright, so in this situation I've got 4 50-gram hanks, and I'm going to add them all at once to this dye solution here. And as you can see, that is so pastel. In fact, it's so pastel, I think I actually underdid it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more. Remember, this is getting hot. It's not hot yet, but it's getting there. So I'm going to add some more pink, and so that we can get a little bit darker, and then I will come back and show you what the next step is going to be. Alright guys, so I'm back and I have 2 teaspoons of that pink, and then I added just a little bit of water in there so it wouldn't shock the system too much. And I'm going to need to kind of move this around a little bit, and with these zip ties it allows me to pick up and put down this yarn very easily, which really aids in that dyeing process. This is still super pastel. I think I'm going to go ahead and add 1 more teaspoon, maybe 2. Yeah, I'm going to do 2 more teaspoons. I'll be right back. Alright guys, so now I have just 2 more teaspoons of that pink, and I'm going to add that to the water. I'm going to go ahead and take these and hold them up while I add it. Okay, now we're just going to dip this back in here and try to make sure that it's all even throughout this. And this water is now very warm, and that is the kind of pastel pink I was looking for. That's perfect. Alright, so guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this warm up until it starts boiling. Going to put this lid on here. Okay, and I will come back after 10 minutes once all of this pink has set. See you then. Alright, so it has been 15 minutes, so I am ready to look. Ooh, that's really pretty. It looks like a lot of the steam. Looks like there's a lot of condensation there. Let me get, just to see how that is pretty. It's pretty clear. Now I'm going to be reusing this water again in my second part, so it's okay if there's a little bit of pink in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer these to my buffet pan, and we're going to do the second part. Alright, I'll see you then. Alright, so I have transferred all of the hanks, all 4 of them, over to my buffet tray. And like I said, I'm going to recycle this water, keep recycling it. Now it's hot, so I did not turn on the stove very hot at all. And I actually do not want to add that much water. So right now the stove is on low, and we are going to make the fun part of this, okay? The fun part's the second step. So I got this spray bottle, okay, from the dollar store. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of crimson in this, along with a tablespoon or 2 of vinegar. And then we are going to spray that on the yarn so that we get this kind of glazed / speckling effect. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Alright guys, so I mixed 1 tablespoon of vinegar with 2 tablespoons of crimson, and then 1 tablespoon of water so that it had enough to mix up. Now the reason I added vinegar to this is because when I spray this, I want to make certain that it binds straight away. Remember, it's that vinegar that helps the dye bind. And I have already experimented with this particular bottle, and I have it on the setting where I get a nice mist. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna start misting now. Ooh, oh, look at that. Doesn't that look awesome? Wow. That's gorgeous. Can you see how there's not just a little bit of speckling, but also there's some that's kind of like glazing? I think that that is so nice, and I don't even want to touch it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put a cover over this, and I'm going to let it, I'm going to turn it to medium high, and I'm going to let it steam for about 10 minutes. Then I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing on the other side. this is looking awesome. It's a lot cooler than I thought it would. All right, see you then. All right, guys, so I'm back, and I have let this sit for a while, and I think it's been long enough for the red to steam, right, and get on that yarn real well. So now what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be turning this over so that I can get the other side of these skeins of yarn. As well. Alright guys, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but the first side I didn't lay it on very thick. That was because I really liked the way it looked like when it was first glazed, and I was like, wow, this looks great. But this time I'm probably going to spray twice as much as I did before. And that's not going to really matter that much for the colorway, because what's going to happen is that it's going to be able to permeate the whole yarn, and it's not going to be that big of a difference from each side, right? So it's going to end up coming out a lot more even. So here we are. The fun part is about to begin again. Here we go. Oh, that is so gorgeous, isn't it? I'm going to try to get this in real good. Again, I am laying it on thick this time, going for a little bit more of a glaze. And that is nice. Looks like I could add just a little bit more water in some places. So I'm going to go ahead and fill one of these cups with water and add maybe 2 of these cups full of water. And I'm just going to let you guys watch that while I'm doing it. Okay, so I am hoping that this color doesn't move, but if it does, that's okay. Okay, just get some more over on this side too. Okay, that's a lot better, and I'm going to just kind of poke around in here and see if I can find some more white parts here. You can see some of that red spreading. And if I can expose more white, then I'm going to go ahead and spray again. So I really love this glaze look here. All right, so here we go. All right. Okay, so I am going to now let this go for a little while, and I'll meet you back up when it is done soaking up. All right? All right, guys, so it has been about 15 minutes since I last checked in with you guys. As you can see, the water is almost perfectly clear, so we have pretty much, it's a little pinkish right there. We've pretty much got all of this to absorb into the yarn fiber. What I'm going to do now is I am going to flip this yarn one more time, just making sure that I don't have any more white areas of the yarn, and we will see what happens next. So I was able to expose a few places like here, and not so much in these middle ones, but in some areas that were a little more pink than glaze that red or crimson. A lot of the excess water has boiled off, so I'm just going to add a little bit more water here, and we are going to do the final speck right now. Okay, obviously don't want to overdo it. I do want that pink to shine through. I want it to look more like pink yarn with red specks than just as a red glaze, but I think this just about do it. I am so happy with the way it looks right now. Another thing, actually, while I'm thinking about it, to mention about this is that when we're looking at the yarn and it's wet, it's always going to look darker than the way it looks when we take it out. So that's another reason why I want to let it sit here just for a while longer. Now, both of the burners here and here are off, okay? I don't feel like it needs to steam set anymore. I'm just trying to get a little bit more to bind onto the yarn here before I rinse it out. And of course, what I'm going to do is I'll just keep monitoring for color, and when it runs clear, then see right here, it's already clear. So when it runs clear, I'll know that it's ready. All right, guys, so next time you see me, I'll probably be rinsing out the yarn. All right, see you then. All right, guys, so if this looks familiar, it's because this is where we started when we glazed it with the crimson. But now we are coming in with a violet. And I have a completely separate bottle. And let's see if you can see that. Yep, got violet in there. And I put the exact amount in there. I put 2 tablespoons of violet, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, so that it'll bind really quickly, and 1 tablespoon of water just to dilute it a little bit. Alright guys, so now it's time for the fun part. I am going to start spraying this over the pink, and we are going to get a wonderful violet glaze now on this, which will be just as stunning as a Valentine's Day colorway. I think it's kind of interesting how some of that violet is coming out a little bit clumpier than others. Alright guys, so I have dusted this pink with the purple, and I am going to turn on the heat now and let this set for a little while so that I can then flip it over and do the other side. I think this is stunning. This is so beautiful. Alright, so see you then. Alright guys, so this is our glazed spray pink and crimson yarn. And I'm about to find out if this is going to run at all. And good news guys, it is not running. All of that vinegar must have really bound to that yarn well. So now I'm going to add a little bit of dish soap and wash it out. Now the reason I do this, you know, I don't like the smell of vinegar, first off, and second, if there's any particles in here or anything else, that will help me get that out. Plus, if it's gonna run, it will run at this point. And I don't know, no, it's not running. It's beautiful. It's perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue rinsing it, and once I have rinsed it out completely, I will spread it out and let you guys see what it looks like wet, and then we'll look at it dry. Alright guys, so here it is close up. I've rinsed it out and I've wrung it out just a little bit. I'm going to be hanging it up to dry soon, but hopefully you can see how there are places where there's pink, and then there's places where there are that splash of crimson, and it looks awesome. I think that this looks really cool. I cannot wait to see what this looks like when it's all dry. I'm very, very impressed. So I will meet you back up at the table once I get my purple one done as well. Alrighty guys, so this has set, and I am now going to flip it over, same way as I did with the other yarn that we glazed. just exposing this pink side so that I can do the same thing with violet on the other side. And I am really looking forward to seeing how this is going to look. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I don't have the zip ties on this the way I normally do. I'm gonna need some more zip ties. But I have been pretty good at keeping the hanks separate, so I am definitely glad for that. Alright guys, so sorry I had to do most of that spraying off camera because it was really hard for me to get it to work, and then Greg came in and he helped me too. So basically we have it turned and the other side is properly sprayed with purple. This is turning out to look absolutely gorgeous. What I'm going to do is add just a little bit of water. Okay, so I'm adding just a little bit of water where it's evaporated off in some places here, just to make sure that there is enough liquid in here so the yarn will be completely submerged and will be able to absorb the rest of that dye. This is just going to be stunning, guys. So excited about how this is going to turn out. Alright, so I am ready to kind of let this sit. It is still on low, and I'm going to just go ahead and let it sit on low because it's pretty hot. This is pretty hot anyway, so as it cools, that purple is going to set and is going to be absorbed, and then we will take it out of the pot and wash it and see what it looks like. See you then. Alright guys, so this is what the pink with purple looks like. And I am going to see if it bleeds at all. So this is a moment of truth. And nope, not at all. Not in that water. So now I'm going to put some soap in here. We're going to see if it bleeds. Nope, it is running perfectly clear. So all I'm going to need to do now is to just rinse this out to get the soap out. And once I do that, then I will show you what it looks like spread out on my counter. See you there. Alright guys, so here is the glazed purple Colorways. And this is going to be very fun because it got a little tangled while I was dyeing it, but that's not something that's going to affect the quality of the yarn or anything like that. Just want to kind of go in here. It's a lot more pastel than the other one, and I really like it. Gosh, I really like it. I don't know which one I like better, but so far I'm really liking this one. So far this one's ahead for me. I just think that it looks so gorgeous, and I am going to hang it up to dry, and I will meet you at the table, and for you just a few minutes, but for me a day, and we will compare the yarns dry. Alright, see you then. Welcome back to the table where we are going to take a look at the different colorways that I created for Valentine's Day. So there were two that you watched me create, and then there's a third one. So this is the pink with the red glaze on it. Okay, so I really like the way it looks hanked up right now, but I'm going to go ahead and unhank one of them so we can look a little bit more closely just at how this glaze turned out. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in for you guys so you guys can see this closer up. All right, so as you can see, there are these little places here where you can see where the red mist hit, and it just glazed the outside of this yarn. It's so beautiful. I love this colorway. You can still see the pink underneath, and in some places the pink's still there, but you can also see that sprayed red color in some places, and I just love how soft it is on each one of these strands where it touches. And just to show you, different ways, I'm just going to be turning this and opening it up a little bit and just showing you how the different yarn looks here. And so it's really beautiful. Some of it's lighter than others, but it's absolutely gorgeous. All right, and it's still very, very soft. So this is the first colorway that I created, and I am going to call this colorway Kiss Me. All right, I really like that. Okay, so here is Kiss Me. Now the next colorway we are going to talk about is this one. So look at how much paler the pink is in comparison, and that is because the red kind of got into the water with this one, and it created a darker pink than that really pastel pink that I started with. So this is the violet colorway. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit more on this. And as you can see, we have the same effect as we did with the crimson, only it's violet. So let me open up one of these hanks and show you what it looks like here. All right, zooming in a little bit more so you can see up close. So as you can see, there are some strands that have more than others. Same with the crimson. And as you can see, it is also a very stunning colorway. I'm sure it's going to look great. And I was able to get it untangled. So we have this colorway, which I'm going to be calling Hug Me. And here is Kiss Me. And here is the skein of Kiss Me and the skein of Hug Me. But what's this? What is this? Now, I did not do this on camera, but I thought it would be interesting to see what would happen if we dyed one that light pink again, and instead of spraying one or the other, we sprayed both red and, or the crimson and the violet. So this is my third colorway, and I did not do this on camera, but as you can see, it is the same idea, only it has both violet and crimson, and that crimson and violet mixed together in some places and created this gorgeous, like, oh, it's just such a pretty pink here, and I absolutely love it. I think it's gorgeous. I think that also this pink that was created also had to do with the pink that was underneath it, but as you can see, it is just as pretty. And this colorway I'm going to be calling Be Mine. So look for these colorways to be hitting my Etsy store on January 6th when all of my other colorways hit. We have Kiss Me, we've got Hug Me, and we have Be Mine. And they will all be available. I am currently dyeing a lot more hanks of this, so there will be more than enough hanks for each colorway. And just know that these are 50-gram hanks, but it's a fine weight, and it is that Angora Merino blend, and it's just absolutely so soft. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you soon with another video. Bye for now.